keeps the reverse and the forward at exactly the same point. It's easier to tell here, but you dial it in. And when it's set to 0, there, it's locked in place at 0. Okay, let's hear the beast sew. So this was the only thing which is annoying. As usual, people do stupid things when they're shipping the machine. So they put the metal pedal, or the foot controller, in here and didn't wrap it up. So of course, in transit, it gets scratched. Very annoying, but that's life. It doesn't affect the operation of the machine. It's just serious, you guys. Use your brain. But anyway. So here you can see I've changed the hand wheel from the original wheel. I still have the original wheel, but that hand wheel makes it run much better. That's a thick casting. It's even thicker. And here, that's a pretty substantial piece of metal holding that in. Makes it very nice and quiet. So this is my, it says Royal on it, no idea, but it's a Class 15 clone made by Brother. I was looking for a Class 15 machine because I needed a machine which is Class 15 which took the large spoke wheel. All my other Class 15s don't take the large spoke wheel because they have a bobbin winder built in the top, so it's not quite as convenient. And I was looking for Class 15 because I wanted to do, it was easier to control the treadle to do the embroidery, and also I wanted another machine, having heard comments after my video about the hem stitching problems out on the 201, where someone said, well, I don't have any problem on my 15. And since I don't have a featherweight, I could test it on there. I thought, well, easiest, cheapest option is to get yet another machine. So I was hunting around for a Class 15 machine, and happened to see this, which was described as not working. Well, the usual description, the needle goes up and down, yes, it certainly does, and it was fairly complete with parts. They said the motor doesn't work and the light doesn't work, and I thought, well, I'm only interested in the machine for the treadle, so I'm going to get it. And you see it's very shiny. This was damaged in transport, but aside from that, it was pretty much an absolutely beautiful machine. So when it arrived, I took a look to see what was up with the motor, and it wasn't wired, so hence that works. And the reason the light doesn't work is the switch is a bit gone in the back, so I need to do some surgery there, but that's not to worry because I've got my LED light. So as you see, this is, it looks like it's a 1956 machine from the best I can guess from the serial number, made in January 1956, supposedly. So it's a couple years older than my Flairmatic. But since I thought my Flairmatic was such a great machine, saw this come up, I thought, well, I'll try it out. And if I have to get a 15 anyway, then I'll get a 15. But if this does well, as a 15. So the first thing I like about this is it's got a higher foot lift than pretty much all my other machines. It's pretty good. And it has a hyperextension. It's got the classic, very, very classic tension disc here, but they work. I could replace it with a more modern type, but I'm not really bothered because I always run tests before I sew anyway, so it makes very little difference. What I did find when I was trying to sew is that actually the tension spring had broken off. So I've ordered one, but in the meantime I took my 201 spring and I modified it to work, and it works absolutely fine. And then of course I had to try out the machine. So I boiled it up, and cleaned it a bit. That's all it really needed, and it was good to sew. So I'm going to just thread it up with some contrasting threads, and then you can see what it does. So off we go. So I've put my spool of thread on the thread stand because I always prefer that. It goes over the little thread guide here, around the discs, the foot's up, so that's perfect. Come in from the back side of here. Oops. I'm still getting used to working from behind, but what did I do there? Do that again, that was really impressive. Alright, come around from behind, over the hook, under there, and then it should stay. So I'm going to lock it in place this time so it doesn't go sneaking away on me. Trim the thread so it's a little better. It's a very springy embroidery thread, this. And then you bring it from the back. Okay. And back over there, yeah. Down to here, down to there. And then in this machine, unlike many of the 15 class Singer machines, is definitely Japanese built, so it's threads left to right, not right to left. So that is nice and easy for me. There we are. So make sure that goes around there nice and cleanly. Really need to turn on the light, but then it blows up the image. That's okay. So let's foot down. Bring up the thread. There we are. And there we are. It's kind of extra long, so let's shorten them a bit. You do need to leave a fair length of thread. That's not at its highest point, so while the foot's up, I'll do that. So I have a spare piece of white cotton here, just to throw in the tension. And I'm going to pause just to make it easier for the camera work. So here we are, I've got the machine threaded up. It has a very, very, let's see if I can move this out of the way side, very long, much longer stitch length than I would have expected from these machines. You can hear it. Need to increase the tension a bit. Yeah, it's good now. It's a very good long stitch on that. And what I was really impressed with this, I'll shorten the stitch a bit. This is as fast, so I'm using exactly the same wheel as I was with my 201. So if you see the video why I finally love my 201, you'll hear the noise it makes when it's going at exactly the same speed. So the spoke balanced wheel, oops, what's going on here? Spoke balanced wheel that I've put on that is exactly the same one as on here. So I'm going to lengthen this a bit more. This one here is a very quiet machine. I mean, really, it's surprising considering it's an oscillating hook machine. Why is that quiet? Distinctly different sound than the full rotary hooks, but it makes a beautiful stitch. That was the thing I was really thrilled about it. So, you know, that is really, excuse my nails, I've been working on the machine so they're a bit dirty. Really good quality stitch, perfectly balanced. That was the first bit when I had the thread tension too low, but now it's okay. As you can see here, it's once I adjusted the tension, it's perfect the whole way through. It's a really, really, really nice machine to sew on. So, I pulled out of the tension discs because I wasn't paying attention to the thread feed. It's really good practice if you're running from a thread stand to put it through a bobbin here, and I didn't, so it pulled out of the thread guides. It's always a bit of a challenge, but this is a bit curly, this bobbin thread today, which is still sewing. So let me go on to the next part. It's a really, really nice stitch. On the back, bobbin side. So, you know, you could easily use this for clothing sewing, which I wasn't expecting to be interested in because I've got my Flairmatic, which sews so beautifully, but there's absolutely no reason why I couldn't use this as much as my 201. It's really nice to use. So, let's go on to the next part. So, I've got this from a Class 15 machine, and it fits on this machine, which is kind of important, since I needed it to fit in order to make sure that I could use the hem stitcher. Pretty good. So take this off. So what I found is, as usual, once you put this on, you lose some of that valuable space under the needle area, which is a pain. So sometimes to get the hoop, a bigger hoop under, you have to take the needle out. Kind of annoying, but c'est la vie. But with it, so you could actually not bother and just drop, because this doesn't have feed drop. It's about the most basic machine I've got, except for the fancy here. Because it doesn't have feed drop, you can run it with 0 stitch length, but it still kind of makes it not as nice when you're trying to do free motion embroidery. So I was playing about on the machine, just trying. Obviously I'm working on a project here, but just decided to do butterfly for fun. It's not super great, but I was practicing, so just to get used to the machine. This hoop, because it's small, does fit very nicely under the needle and the presser bar when it's up. Pretty good. I might just tighten it slightly. Better. So So with this hoop, you can fit it under. With that hoop, it's not so easy. You have to take out the needle. However, I'm not sure the tension will probably need a bit of adjusting here, but let's pull up the bobbin thread. Just loosen it slightly. Let's see what's happening here. Okay. Just might loosen that slightly. Yeah, that's pretty good, sorry. Zoom in a bit. You can see what's going on here. Try and keep my hands out of the way. A little difficult there, that works. As you expect, you know. Typical, very smooth machine on the pedal, so I can get it. Get my feet in the right place for slow control. Needle up, down. See? So sometimes if you get your feet in exactly the right position, you all know this, you can control the needle up and down to make sure you can do your side-to-side maneuverings without any problem. So, considering I had to improvise on the take-up spring, which you can see moving around up here, I've got the tension perfectly adjusted on this machine, which I'm very pleased about because I was really worried I wouldn't be able to test this machine for bit loops. So I'm going to go back to my project now, but you can see I can get perfect control, which is why I wanted the spoked wheel on this style of machine, because we all know, oops, looks like the bobbin thread's coming up a bit. And the threads came off of their thread path. Yeah, I need to better. As I say, I could eventually adjust the change the thread tensioner. However, it works. Definitely getting a bit of blue, so I think I need to adjust my bobbin tension a bit. Might not be running smoothly, but because I didn't have any problem with that before, so I think I just need to adjust a few things, but that's okay. That's my own fault, not the machine. Anyway, it's a great machine. Ignore the thread thing. I know that's me, not the machine. It just needs a little adjustment here again. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that video. I think that's better now. Alright, anyway, bye for now. Okay, so one thing I think would be fun to show you on this machine, oops, stay there, is, as you can see, as soon as I try and get the hoop here, it's just even in the height, it's like, it's not going to go. So I usually have to pull the needle. So it's a bit of a pain, but it's alright if you're working on a project. It does, however, slide under there, which is quite handy. But what and there's a good amount of room underneath there to sew away. So really you only have to drop the, take out the needle to sew successfully with this one when you're doing hoop work of a bigger hoop size, because the small one just slides under without any problem. But what was really easy on this machine, because I found it was a bit tight using the hem stitch attachment. Actually, I won't thread that up now because you need to see this. I'm going to zoom out. Okay. So to get under here, as easy as pie. Just loosen the screw and the whole faceplate lifts off, as is common. And then this one screw here, that one, allows, there's a lot of play in this one. So what I found is, if you need to raise it, it's, like with many of these machines, super easy to raise that foot just enough so it's not too tight for the hem stitcher. So what I found is, it's just so tight under there, even with that extra bit, it's too difficult to get the hem stitcher under there, so it's easy to adjust if I need. Anyway, hope you found that interesting.